Using is thermal imaging. So you should be able to see me in that camera. It should be the red, orange, and yellow guy. That means I'm the warmest thing inside the picture. So what are we looking for with this, girls? Do you know?
Things that are warm.
Not warm, but cold. Right, we're looking for cold spots, literally. So this is a FLIR Pro 1. What does that mean to you? This is what firemen use to try to save people. Like, this is the real deal. So this is not just a phone app. It's actually a special kind of phone that can only take this kind of, camera app or this camera accessory on here. But basically, we're going to be looking for those blue and black spots to be moving on their own. I also have this camera set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. The blue dot is going to be telling us what the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment is. So you will get this full video back. As Paul is going through this, I'm going to give him starts and stops to, kind of give us those cues, just because we don't need film of us walking, and as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So if we record for too long, we lose all footage, and I always like to capture as much as possible. So a couple of things for you, sir. As you're hanging on to that guy, you want to keep it horizontal. So obviously the camera always to your left, which is the wire side. Okay. Even when I tell you to stop it, when you restart it back up again, make sure you're in the same position. Otherwise, it's going to be flippy-do, and I splice it all together, and YouTube doesn't know the upside-downness. We'll all be watching it sideways. So just always keep it horizontal. Let's see. Let's get into spirit boxes. Spirit boxes, we're going to be using several different types of spirit boxes tonight. These are ways for us to communicate with the dead. And again, I like to use several different styles just because it kind of helps the spirits be able to communicate back to us if there's more than one way to communicate. So that's why I use several different styles. So with this one, it's going to be like the sweeping of the radio stations, like what you guys see on TV and that kind of thing. And this is going to be the white noise, and then your host tells you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it. We're going to be doing this a little bit differently because disembodied voices through these type of devices are a rarity, believe it or not, regardless of whatever they tell you on TV. I only capture about 4 to 5 of those per year. So again, we're going to use another method because you guys aren't used to listening to just white noise. So I have these slowed down on purpose. I want you to hear the radio DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercials. It's going to go by in little blips. We might catch a word here or a phrase there. It's a 50-50 shot that I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of us or somebody that Marlene brought with her. So again, it's a 50-50 shot. This one in particular is going to record the entire session for us. The nice thing about that is the people that are going to be able to listen to this in real time is the person using it. They will have an earbud in, so that way they're the only person that can hear it. But you will get the recording back as a team tomorrow, and I'll spot check it with like 15 to 20 other markers. If it's relevant, I'm going to give you the backlink to show you where it's relevant. So again, if somebody told you how old they were when they got married, I'm going to give you the link that says that. And it's usually going to be Britannica or some kind of credible website. So that way you can verify it. It's not because I told you so, it's because it's the real deal. So this one in particular, seeing you kind of stepped backwards.
Yeah.
This is probably the most fun one that I have. She's like, no, not me. Got it. All right, Mary. This one's going to you. So I don't want earbuds back. Your wax is gross. You get to keep that. So I will plug it in and then show you where the volume button is. You can mess with the volume all you want to all night long. Most people just keep one earbud in so that you can hear me too and your surroundings. And then that way the recording does not get messed up with any of the volume that you're going to be turning up and down. The volume wheel for this guy is right here. It's a wheel, so you can play with that all night. Just don't hit the button. It'll stop the recording. So you'll have to untwist those so that way you can put one in.
So you can see the parenting.
This spirit box works a little differently. This one is going to give us words from time to time in the center of this screen as soon as it pops up. So right where those 3 dots are, it'll give us words from time to time and then save them to a list. The cool thing is that the list is time-stamped, so I know where to watch video, where to listen to audio. 80% of what we capture out of this thing doesn't mean anything. It's the other 5 to 20%, again, where it's going to be relevant to the location, a person, one of us. So I'm going to clear out the last tour I did, which would have been, Monday? They had 76 terms pop up. So Ruth, when this is giving you words from time to time, you don't need to show me every word. I will come to you when I want to kind of get a recap on the list just to see where we're at with things. You don't need to do anything besides wait for the words to pop up.
So, and then when the words pop up, I do what? Nothing?
Nothing.
So I just have to carry this around.
Carry it around.
Perfect. I'm a real smarty. I can carry.
And I even
like
put some
that.
weight to it because
Yeah.
it's one of those instances where I kind of get a feel for you guys ahead of time. I kind of see like who's a little uncomfortable with all the gadgetry and you know that
You
kind
know
of thing.
everyone's gonna see
So
you.
when I come to you and say where we
Hi.
are, I'll hit this white button, or you can hit it, and then we'll be
From
able to see the
YouTube.
full list when it's
Oh,
there.
YouTube.
And then you just circle back. So literally, it's 2 buttons. That's all we'll be hitting
said
together.
All right, I'm just going to hold it. You can hit.
Got it.
Okay. Good.
Let's see.
Don't hold it that way.
I don't want to do that.
The camera's
I
right here.
have a smartphone, so does
He
that
said
give you a clue
horizontal.
on what I need to pack?
What's that?
I don't even
Okay,
have
that's
a
not what he said,
smartphone, so does that
horizontal.
give you a clue on what I need to pack around? We may have to trade.
I'll give you something just as easy, but just as fun. So, this one's brand new. I just got this maybe 3 weeks ago now. So this is also a spirit box, but instead of having all that white noise come through, like the one Mary's listening to, this one is called an auto noise canceling. So it's going to take out all that little white noise. We're still going to get a little bit of scuttle coming from it. I'm sure you can hear a little bit of ruffling going on now. But again,
not
it's
funny.
going
You're
to
so
kind of
mean.
eliminate most of that. And then hopefully we hear a word come out of this from time to time that we can actually make out.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to set it up for you. Where the only thing you'll have to do is every once in a while I'll say, let's go ahead and mute that. And it's just one button right here on the side.
One button on the side. That's
And I've already
okay.
muted it. So
All right.
I'll let you know when to unmute it. And that
All
way
right.
we can all hear it. And you won't have an earbud in or anything crazy like
Thank
that.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
What's the main type of stuff that you hear out of these?
I hear names. I hear dates. I hear our names. I hear certain words around the people, and that's what all the history is for.
Is it real?
Of course it's real. Why wouldn't I be here? That's why you're here, to see that it's real. So, again, I don't work for a company. I own this. Like, this is me. I do this because this is a main curiosity. So this isn't all about what's fake and what's not kind of mentality.
Have you ever gotten super scared from it?
No.
Or just like,
No.
this is cool?
Never.
What made you want to do this?
Wow, you guys are like diving deep. We'll talk about that as we kind of move along. I've been into this stuff since I've been younger than you guys. But actual ghost hunting started probably about 10, 11 years ago. We're going to give you something nice and easy to do.
Okay.
This is called a millimeter. Okay, so a millimeter is going to measure 3 different things. Now, you're going to be busy. That's why I'm giving you this, to kind of keep your mind off the fright. So, electromagnetic fields. Like, you guys watch the ghost hunting shows? You've seen the little K2 meters where they have the blinky lights, right? You guys have seen these before?
Yeah.
So these measure electromagnetic fields. However, I normally give that to like the little people on the tour. So this one, anything above 2.5 on that top number, I want to know what's going on. And when I say electromagnetic fields, that could be cell phone signals, could be wiring, could be parking meters. And of course, the hope here is that it's going to it's ghost disrupting, and we'll be able to tell that by what's actually happening on your screen. The bottom number is ambient temperature. He finds something on his camera, you and I can debunk it pretty quickly with this yellow probe right here at the top. Basically, it's measuring the air around it. So we'll be able to find that cold spot and see if it's real or not.
Okay.
The last thing that it has is it's got a motion sensor in it. So if something gets close to the antenna that I just pulled out, it will go off. So I point it down because it's super bright. Now, the closer it gets, the higher that pitch is going to go. So again, this can be disruptive around when I'm talking about history, and especially when we're around wiring. So again, I'm going to shut it off for now. All I need you to do right now is focus on those red numbers.
Will like cell phones or whatever affect that, or?
Only if it's like right on top of it. If it was literally like underneath it or around it some way. Let's see. And what type of device would you like?
I have no clue.
No idea. What do I want to do here? You're going to get the same one she's having,
Okay.
but yours is not going to record.
Okay.
So I'm going to rely on you to tell me what is going on with it. Now, I have a little notebook on me, so all of the devices that are not recording something, I manually record it, so that way it goes into your analysis tomorrow morning. So you're going to have my notes plus all of your own notes of things that actually happen in real time. So, again, whatever you hear, I have to write down, because we can't verify it. Also, Mary, whatever you hear out of yours, we'll have to write down as well, because even when I spot check it, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. You're going to record 2 hours worth of radio sweeps there. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. Yours is Same thing. Volume button is right there. You can mess with the volume all you want to. You just have to untie your
I know
earbuds.
something's close to me.
I'll tell you.
No, I don't want to know.
You see it on here.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Stick with him. You'll be good. All right, guys, go
Not
have fun. Let me
scary,
know
it's
what
just
happens.
history.
No, I'm kidding. Don't
It's
bother.
scary.
Just handed you a couple $1,000 worth of equipment, all right? Sure, go have fun. I'll meet you back here. So, let's talk about why we started here. This place behind me is called Big John's. By the way, you guys can call me Nick all night long. Hey, you, whatever it is that you guys need to call me. I also will ask, and it doesn't seem like we have one here, but if there is a skeptic among you, I don't want to know who it is. The reason being is because I'm going to use Ruth as my skeptic. If you're my skeptic, I'm going to focus on Ruth all night long, and you guys are going to miss out on what's going on with your devices in real time, because I'm going to need to prove to Ruth that the paranormal lives in Charleston for my own mentality. Keep your skepticism to yourself. We're all here to have fun, right? So, including me, because I do love my job. So, Big John's behind me. This place was named after a football player. His name was Big John Canby. Now, this was his bar, and he used to sit in the back of it at the bar, and used to tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry. The next night, they come back and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John sees what's going on, he gets out of here, he goes over and just starts beating these guys up, pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck and the bullet lands behind him. John gets up after being shot. He's the only one that's been shot. He goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and ambulance. Now, here's the irony. Nobody died in that story. So what's haunting the place? The bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I say allegedly because this place was just recently renovated in the past 6 months. I don't know if it's still there. But even if it isn't, John's blood is in this building. People that sit in the front of this bar do This is kind of a huge warning. You're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight. Now, those aren't on the payroll. That's not controlled. So, if anybody starts to feel any of those symptoms that I just mentioned, like dizziness, nauseous, or headache, anything more immediately, you need the whole group to hit that person with safety. It's a very big deal. And I don't say that to scare anybody, but it is. It can happen. So, let's get our mind off of our own health, shall we? Right? So, same building. Have you guys been taking any Charleston tours at all? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys know that we had a big earthquake here in 1886. This is allegedly where the first earthquake, or like the first death occurred from that earthquake.
Here?
Yes, at this building. So the mantle you see right in the middle also wraps around the front on the East Bay side. They say a piece of it broke off from the earthquake, hit somebody in the back of the head, and killed them, and that you can see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. So it's kind of allegedly a lot because I don't have any proof of that story. It's just a great segue, so nobody's thinking about getting shit on it. Maureen's laughing, as she should. Are you guys ready to go ghost hunting? You
Yes,
guys are a
sir.
very quiet group or very tentative. I can't figure out which one. So we got to get you guys working. Let's go up this way.
I was about to ask, how do you know if they're going closer than you cut it?
Go on, baby.
I saw 2
So, your entire time with me should be kind of thought of as kind of like a ghost hunting 101 course. So as we kind of go throughout the night, we're going to be leveling up. So this is a very easy spot. It's just a great area where you guys I get to explain your devices a little bit more. I should also point out, and nobody's mentioned this to me yet, but psychics and mediums normally don't make it all the way through this tour. So I'm just kind of putting that out there too. I should have given that with the headaches and that kind of thing over there, but just letting you guys know.
What?
Psychics don't make it through the tour. They'll normally pass out at the next stop. Like, it's almost a guarantee. So, even on nice, cool nights like this. Now, with that said, where are we? We're at the Big Red Barn. This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. The barn is behind you. So, in the summertime, it's called a lily dive because there's no glass in those windows. However, nice, cool night, so thank you for that. It's a nice big deal. The history here is really simple. It's a one-liner. This is where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's all I got. 1860s to 1920s, roughly. So let's talk about spirit boxes because we have, 4 of them in play tonight? Yes, 4 of them. So, spirit boxes, this is not television. This is not YouTube. This is not, is somebody here? Like, everybody wants to ask. Because if somebody says no, that means somebody's here, right? Because they answered us directly. We're going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. Certain spaces, I'll kind of give you some, questions to kind of, impromptu type deal. Other ones you can go rogue a little bit, as long as they're not yes or no questions, and hopefully we can find a correct answer. In a space like this, I would say ask questions you already know the answers to, like what color is the big red barn, right? Obviously, we're going to be looking and listening for the color red. However, 3 of you are using radio stations to convey messages back to us, and the word red might not be in the vocabulary of that song lyric or DJ. However, fire truck, blood, heart, those 3 things are specifically red. If you get that type of answer, I would accept that. What color is a big red barn? Blood. I'm good. Like, that's an acceptable answer. However, most of the night, I'm going to require 2 happenings, including EMF readings or some type of wordplay going back and forth, or even an anomaly on the camera, to be able to verify what's going on. Again, I'm not here to make stuff up and get super excited about little tiny details if there's no verification. For example, let's just say that Ruth has the word art on her word screen, and you hear the number 40. Maureen or Marlene? Marlene, I'll get it right. So, Marlene here's the number 40. Individually, those 2 words don't mean anything, art and 40. But you put them together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Does that make sense, how we have to put the clues together? Many of these stories tonight are going to have multiple people with the same name. Charles's and George's and Eliza's. Like, we need to know who the heck we're talking to. So, does everybody kind of get the gist of how their spirit boxes are going to be run throughout the night? So, all you're going to do 2 things for me tonight. You're going to try to keep a person in view. First reason is because our skin's going to be the warmest thing out here. This is a nice, beautiful 70-degree night. Our 97 degrees is going to set off an array of color in the screen. It makes it a lot easier to find something, a cold anomaly moving through. So again, try to keep a person in view. The second thing you're going to try to do is keep the sky out. Sometimes it's going to be impossible, so do your best. The reason why is that blue dot that's bouncing around the screen that's kind of helping us out is going to automatically default to the sky because it's looking for a surface.
Okay.
So again, it's going to be impossible in certain areas. You're the only one with a camera tonight, which is going to be super easy to kind of help keep track of. We're going to be in certain spaces tonight where there's going to be vehicles, and I will tell you that people don't like to be filmed, and they don't like their cars to be filmed. So just like in this space where there's cars parked, I'll say act casual, and that's why you're just casually, holding a cell phone. But the other camera's a little bit more tricky, like it's got some arms and lights attached to it and that kind of thing. So this is going to be nice and easy tonight to just be able to, help out with one camera. Questions, comments, or concerns before we go deep dive further than football players and ponies? Lana, you okay?
Yeah.
You still nervous, really?
Yeah.
This is the kind of history we're dealing with. Football players and ponies. Nothing's hurting you. You'll be fine. You got this. All right. Any other concerns? All right. Let's go deep dive back into the colonial days of Charleston. Let's see what we can go find over here. Let me know if you have any numbers pop up over here. Sometimes we'll get some numbers.
Okay.
Number over 2.5.
2.2. And then it's back down.
Well, they call it ghost hunting. You gotta move around. And any crazy words popping up on your end? Nothing that you saw?
Can I turn mine on yet or not? Am I to turn mine on yet or not?
Oh, you can.
Oh.
Yeah, just go ahead and unmute it. I'm sorry. I'm usually really good about the cues on when to turn on and off. Okay, there you go. We got some noise. Right. Welcome to another beautiful spot of Charleston. Yes, we're in a parking lot. Lucky you. So, this place used to be something, so let's talk about what it used to be. Let's get through the history of this place. First off, spirit boxes, I will not be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the red barn. You will get the answers from your spirit boxes. Yes, I withhold information purposely, so that way you have a genuine experience. Again, and I say experience not because you're on a tour, but a genuine paranormal experience. This place used to be the Pinckney Mansion site. So Charles and Eliza Pinckney, they lived here. Their mansion was in the front. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across. You want to keep that horizontal. There you go. I know, it's tough. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home, just so you guys know where we're standing right now. So, who the heck were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses in case you lost track. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but you guys are all on vacation, and nobody likes that deep of a history lesson when you're out on vacation. So, let's talk about Eliza. She's way cooler. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if you ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect a number like 12 or 14. So expect something to today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because Charles was over double her age when they married. The reason Eliza married him is because her father over in England thought he was dying and he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. Well, she didn't think he was dying, so she put her foot down and she got married. Now, this is 1744. There's no such thing as marrying for a green card or for citizenship. She did marry him out of love. So even after he died, because remember, he's double her age, she remained a widow afterwards, just because that was her bestie. So, she was right. Dad got better. He starts sending over apologetic gifts to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Now, indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you guys have it on tonight. Now, indigo was already here, but she had to learn from her slaves on how to keep it cultivated in our not so hot temperatures all the time. Once she figured it out, she moved it to a plantation, calls her dad and says, rice plantations are going downhill, we can make a killing with the indigo. So that's the business of Eliza. She's an international businesswoman, which is absolutely unheard of for colonial times. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. Either really smart or really stupid, depending on how you look at it. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. A maiden name is the name she had before they got married. So again, I don't know where they learned that stuff yet. But at the same time, it starts with the letter L. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but if you want to know which Eliza, ask her which one she is. Ask her maiden name. The mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it. That's a pretty easy one. If you get an answer, you can obviously ask when that happened. Hopefully you get the year, which is often heard around here, and it's a very specific year. The children, I told you there was at least one. There are more. You can ask how many and what their names were, but that's about it. The reason why is because this is where things get a little creepy. There's a tragedy among those children. She doesn't want to talk about it. So again, if we poke the bear, all activity will stop, including any numbers that Lena has. Do you have any numbers yet?
No.
Okay. So again, that thing can spike up pretty high in here. As far as Eliza's death, that's where she's really open. You can ask her how old she was when she died, what did she die from, where is she buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Like, these are all very specific questions, if you guys notice. So if you don't remember all the questions, that's perfectly fine. You can come. I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you, so that way I can kind of write down little notes as we kind of go through here. We're going to spend a good probably 5 to 10 minutes in here, depending on how much activity is actually joining up. Remember, you can ask a question, but the answer can go somewhere else. There's 4 spirit boxes in play and 2 pieces of audio. I have an audio here, and we have audio on the camera. So if you ask a question, trying to hopefully getting an answer on your spirit box, it might actually show up on somebody else's.
Oh, so we that don't have earbuds or whatever, we still keep asking
Oh yeah, like you have a spirit box and so do you. You both have spirit boxes.
Oh, okay.
So again, if you guys want to work together and just see how they kind of can join, sometimes they'll work in tandem. Sometimes I get a full sentence out of 2 or 3 different spirit boxes, and I got this phrase and that phrase and this phrase. Oh, that makes one full sentence. You know, and it actually makes sense to the space. Happens all the time, which is why I like to use so many different devices. So, girls, have you guys heard anything yet, or have you just been focused on me?
I've heard like some guy.
Okay, what did the guy say?
For life until death.
For life until death.
I heard something go boom.
Like
No, and it wasn't a song. It just went.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
very interesting. What's funny is I gave that spirit box to a young lady a couple nights ago, and she said that she kept hearing screaming. I'm like, okay, we're going to get that one out of your ear. We're going to get you something else. So, but again, I want you to hear those voices. It's going to be DJs and song lyrics and that kind of thing. That's what I want you to listen for. So again, you two are going to be kind of the key tonight because we can't hear what you're hearing. So you have to listen up. Any words or phrases that you're hearing, I'm going to be writing them down. So you said for life until death.
Yes, sir.
Was it about when we were talking about when they got married?
You were saying something about how, like, something about Eliza,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right when you said the kid was 1. It was
okay.
right before you said that. I think you're talking about their age, the double.
Okay. Okay. All right. Nice slow movements on your camera. Makes just for a nice easy video. If somebody's going to their vehicle like that family was going, you're just going to go the opposite way. They don't know what we're doing out here, but if I was a car thief, that would be my first tool, just so you guys know, because I can see the heat signature of every car in here, and that way I know how long they've been sitting here. So, they don't know what we're doing, but again, that would be my first tool if I was a car thief.
It was weird though. Like when that lady and her kid walked up,
Mhm.
they didn't show up on here at all.
I thought they went straight to the other side, because
They came through that gate and then went to the passenger side of that car, but it didn't show them.
So he had a ghost passenger?
I don't know.
Nice. Well, it's all on video, so we'll find out.
Is it recording? I don't think
Yeah, you're recording.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yep, I'll tell you when to stop. Don't pay attention to the timer on there. It doesn't make any sense.
Got a number.
And what does mine do?
So yours is also going through the radio
doesn't-
stations, but
it
the hope
doesn't
here is that
matter.
you're just going to hear a word
The
from time
bottom
to
number
time.
doesn't matter.
These girls are going to hear a lot more than you. So I do want to take a look at your word list, before we get kind of.
I freaking heard for life, and then I said,
Well, you got a lot already.
for like,
Yeah, I do.
and then it said.
It said genius. That's me.
That's
You're kidding.
I
It's
know.
me.
That's why I was looking at Daddy. Daddy went like that
What?
when it said that. 2.9, 2.6.
That's good.
What does that mean?
There's something.
There's nothing underneath us to make that device go off. So
Ask
I've
a
seen that
question.
thing go all the way up to 148 in this location, which is actually dangerous levels. Like I had to move the group kind of mentality.
For
so,
what?
That device was giving readings of over 100.
Oh, yeah.
What's the page? Where did it go? 2.6 and what was the other one?
6.3?
Yeah.
It just went to 6.3.
Pedigree?
Once
Yeah.
I like moved it this way,
Okay,
it's
we
just a
get
little
it.
bit.
Ghost is doing that thing.
At first, I was on with her watching it.
Test it.
Oh, okay.
Did anything come up? I guess turn your watch face on.
2.9 when she does that.
There you go. There's your answer. So this is why you guys are here, to actually use the tools and test them out, see what they actually do. So play with them. I do have to work with you for a minute just to show you how that REM pod works. But yeah, let's go free. Let's roam around. Let's see what we can capture. Find a good hotspot. Start asking some questions. I'll follow up with you guys in just a minute. As far as your device is concerned, pull up your antenna.
Do we actually say a question, or do
Yeah.
we just think it?
No, you say it.
Just say it. Strange summer.
Eliza, what are the name of your kids?
I just heard something go, like earlier when we were over there, I heard something go pedigree or green.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2 Mary.
To Mary?
I don't know.
Like,
Biden's talking. That was Biden.
what do you say?
Something about 2 people are gonna be met.
2 people are going to be met?
Eliza, how did you die?
It said 39.
39?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to remember that so we can tell them.
She was 39 when she died.
I'm not getting anything, like really answers. I'm just getting songs.
Yeah, but it was...
I'm not getting answers out of the song, so. It was her house here? Was it her house here?
Say, Eliza, was your house here?
Eliza, was your house here?
Those other two should be following you so they know where to ask questions.
It just went to 4.4, so it was the highest tonight.
Okay. Oh,
She just heard 39. She asked how
Oh,
old...
for the death.
no. But I'm going to write it down anyway because it could mean something else. Again, I don't know everything.
What'd you say?
39.
For the deaf.
She asked how old she was. Isn't that what you asked?
I said how.
Mary.
Oh, sorry. I did not mean to touch that. Stop.
That's my motion sensor.
What was he telling you?
Motion.
Stop. I asked how old she was when she died, but it was like a light.
Lena. Miranda Lambert was singing. What'd she say?
Didn't you say something about you would meet 2 tonight?
No.
Sophia, didn't you say like something that you will meet 2 tonight? Sophia,
What?
did you say something like it said you will meet 2 tonight?
There's always a way to
Oh, that
reword
was
it.
2 different songs though. Different times.
She said she heard something that said you will meet 2 tonight.
No, that was at 2 different songs.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
Okay. Well, just keep letting me know whatever you hear.
7.1.
Nice.
14.8.
There we go. Hi, Eliza. No, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, just
14 point what?
8.
Oh my. Why is
Reset
it
it.
beeping?
Reset it. Reset it. There you go. You just gotta make sure it's not from your motion.
Yeah, no.
That's why you're here.
She pushed me to it. You have to stay with it. No.
Lena, you have to stand still.
I am not standing
Go back
still.
right
No.
here.
Lena, hold on. Stay still.
No, stop.
Just stay still. Eliza, how many kids did you have?
That's because it motion sensed you, dummy.
Eliza, how many kids did you have?
15.8. That is not true.
It went to 15.08 over here.
I got it.
Not oh.
I said 0.8. He said y'all are supposed to be.
What were your kids' names?
Stop it, Daddy. I don't want to communicate. Eliza, how many kids did you have? Is that my bed? It's not my
Water's probably gonna throw you off when you're watching it.
I'm
Yeah.
sleeping with one of y'all today.
It's gonna be cooler. Pretty cool tech though, isn't it?
It is really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I need one of these when I go hunting.
It's great for fixing the dryer,
8.9.
you know, that kind of stuff. I want to stick with the 16 or whatever that last number was.
15.8.
Yeah, go above that now. Just
Okay.
keep escalating it. Just keep them going.
19.1. That was
Eliza.
funny because it felt like it shook in my hand when it happened.
Really?
Yeah,
It doesn't vibrate,
I know.
so.
It was just like wobbling.
Well, if you want to close like this back lid, you can.
Okay.
That way it doesn't feel that way. Just make sure you reset it.
Right here?
Yep. You got this. You don't need me anymore.
Eliza, was your husband nice?
Daddy, stop
Are you getting the gist on how to hear that?
it. Stay with me.
I heard something earlier over there when we were talking about like what's your favorite color. It said green.
It's normally not the answer that we get. I can't prove it, but that's not.
It went. It said like a name. It had something green in it.
Something green in it. Okay. Interesting. Well, we were talking about her garden, so we'll see if something else pops up about that. What you got? You look excited.
That one went to 15.1.
From love.
Eliza, what's your favorite color?
Can you stop it, Daddy? I'm scared.
I said, Eliza, how did you die? She said, it said, from love. And then it turned her on.
Tell him.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
From love.
Again, it's going to spit out random stuff. That's why 80% will be control. All that "Are you okay?" and, you know, Satan and all those other darker things,
Yeah.
like 99% of that doesn't mean anything. That's
Well,
why I throw it away.
Okay, I just wanted you.
but no,
That's the
I-
first time I've gotten
I'm
like
saying
a
phrase.
to
phrase.
people because I am scared.
Okay,
Good.
so
I
it's
mean,
more like a span.
I'm not listening to that. It's
yeah,
songs.
but we're also giving
Still
them an
not listening to
opportunity to
Like
take
Miranda
one of those
Lambert.
9,100 words and be able to spit it back to us to be able to communicate.
What song was
I
that?
get a lot of communication.
That Sunset song?
Spot.
That's. Yours is loud. It's not that.
Hearing anything else? You got anything else?
There's just like random songs.
Yeah. What the song sing? Cover from is our highest at this point. We're going to give this another couple of minutes just to see if anything super relevant is going to come through. You guys haven't given me anything yet where I'm like, yes!
Walk with me.
But it doesn't mean it's not there.
Is this your house, Eliza?
27.2.
27?
And then now it went down.
Was this your house, Eliza? Did you like it here?
Daddy, can you stop it?
Why?
You're being mean.
No, I'm not.
You're being mean to me.
I just got something on the radio that said from dark.
What'd it say?
From dark.
Good. That's what I want you to
Yeah.
listen to. So, it's not
That
really
was
relevant
you.
here, but again, you heard something. That's the main point. I want you to there's tons going on here right now. So, again, whatever you hear, no matter how silly you think it is,
Eliza, how long have you been here?
You stop. I was about to say,
Do you still like it here?
Daddy, stop it.
What? We're trying to make it spike up.
No, we're not. I'm not.
Why did you mention Victoria?
What'd it say?
I don't know.
Eliza, do you smell Lena's fart?
I didn't fart. If I farted, it would show on that.
It would, though.
Yeah,
You'd show the gas out of your butt.
clearly. I should try that.
Yeah.
Oh, the highest so far was 27.
actually, their property went past that little parking lot median right there. Like, it went further back.
Okay.
So,
Well, but
again,
she would be able to say.
right. I'll give the girls another minute and I'll give you guys the answers. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
How does it detect this?
What's that?
How does it detect it?
There are little sensors in the back of it to be able to find those.
Eliza, do you still like it here?
Reset it. Remember, always reset to make sure that's probably from your movements. You were moving pretty quick. All right, Marlene, you got anything?
Help.
Yeah.
Another pretty common term. But you were also hanging out back here where the servants and slaves were. So I'm going to move this a little bit further back and get you guys these answers. Just because of the cars coming in and out of here. All right, so we can go ahead and stop your video for now. So yeah, hit that circle and you can relax. Anything else coming up out of yours? Nothing? We're going to let yours run because it's not too disruptive, so we'll just keep it going.
I don't think it stopped.
Is it a circle? Marlene, we're going to mute yours. We're going to mute yours, so hit that little button on the side. We're going to mute it. Oh, yeah, I think you should be good. Okay. Only this is considered a quiet space because we're next to a hotel behind you. And then of course you started your video once we run in the corner. Good. All right. So did we hear any names, or you obviously didn't see any names? No names along the way. Okay. So any names out of yours?
Robin.
Robin. Interesting. Could also be a bird, but I'm looking for names. We'll see what happens on the list. So here's where we are. This is an interesting space. So when we crossed that last crosswalk coming down this way, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. Charleston used to be called Charlestown. Had a big giant brick wall around it. We're on one of the very first streets we ever had in Charlestown. This is Lodge Alley. People used to live here. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here. It's not a lengthy list, and the names I commonly get are Benjamin and John. Sound like very common names. When I say people lived here, there's only like 4 to 6 people at a time. So it wasn't like the whole block was taken up with residents. So Benjamin and John both lived here in 1801. I get their names every 6 to 7 weeks, almost on a perfect loop. So again, it's 6 to 7 weeks, and we're just getting into that 6th week starting basically yesterday and today, based on the loop that I watch. I don't have any significant thing other than the fact that they both lived here in 1801, and it's the same two names over and over and over again. Every once in a while, a third name will pop up. It's not Robin. It's usually Jane. Jane is the third person that lived here out of 5 in 1801. Here's why I think this is happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. Belgian blocks are made straight from granite. Now, if you watch the paranormal shows, you've heard the term limestone before. It's supposed to stir up activity. Granite also comes straight from the earth, just like limestone. Well, the granite you're standing on has been here since 1735. They say that if a stone has been in place for a long period of time, it can hang on to the consciousness of memories. So, again, I'm getting the same names over and over and over again. This is called the stone tape theory. Like, it's recording it and just spitting it back to us. So again, I don't have a full explanation other than I keep testing it to see if within that loop I'm going to get the same two names again. Now, before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, which is why it's called Lodge Out. So Freemasons, we usually get terms wrapped around them as well. So Mason, Freemason, Brick. I even get the word Illuminati. We had it show up. Now we're getting an Eliza. Very interesting. Eliza's name just showed up on the word list. That's a little far away, so we'll have to see if there's an Eliza that lived here. I can't say off the top of my head if there is one. But again, obviously a relevant name, so we'll kind of see if it's relevant to the times. The word Illuminati shows up from time to time, and again, I just had one a few weeks ago where it showed up with the word Mason together. So it's kind of like, you can't make this stuff up. It is what it is. But when I heard Illuminati for the first time, I couldn't help but chuckle, because really, am I supposed to dive into conspiracy theories now and try to figure out this puzzle? But the stone tape theory is definitely relevant. I like to point out a couple of things here. The people that lived here were considered lower class. So down where we were on East Bay Street, across the street would have been where the other side of the wall would have been. It makes sense that these people were lower class, basically poor, because the smell of low tide would be coming through here often. So the rich people are not up. So if you've been down to the Battery, you've seen. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Sweet. How you get? Just where I'm supposed to say food?
Yep. Every night. So where was it? Oh, so the rich down at the Battery. Their houses are skinny and go long back. You guys notice that? Those houses are that way for a couple of reasons. First off, you were taxed based on how much street side you had. So the skinnier your house, the less taxes. The Pinckney Mansion was broad. They had money. Most of the family were politicians. They didn't care. Not to mention, they're outside the city walls. Those bragging rights to be able to show off their house. Now, those other, obviously the skinny houses down at the Battery, the other reason they're that way is because they have piazzas, the front door with the porches. The door is supposed to actually, stop the smell of low tide from coming in. They open up the second-story window, allow the cool breeze coming in over the water. It cools down the house because heat rises. So again, those houses are set up that way purposely at those specific angles for a lot of different reasons. Those are the major two. But these people, little tiny shotgun houses. Do you guys know what shotgun houses are? So 1 to 2 room houses, like no bedroom, like basically a bed in the middle of the floor. But yeah, these people were lower class. So again, very interesting space. I just like to linger here for a few to see what's going to pop up on the recordings. So that way when I'm going through the data tomorrow morning, I can kind of see what's going on. What's going to happen from here is we're going to go take another look at another alley, but I can't take you through it like what we're doing now. I've been booted out. You guys have to remember, you're the annoying tour group because you have gizmos and gadgets and noisemakers and blinkies. So I'm the guy that got caught going through a residential area. I'll explain more once we get there because, yes, it's relevant to our last stop. It's really odd. You'll see. Again, I can't make this stuff up. When we exit the alley, you'll stop your video because we're going to cut through a neighborhood to get there. And we don't record in neighborhoods. You're still kind of out of the game, Lena, because you're going to get the parking meters. Just let me know if anything happens in this space while we're here. Normally, we don't get a whole lot in here. Every once in a while, I'll get a 3 or a 4, but it's not very often, just so you know. As far as spirit boxes, obviously keep listening. Yours will stay on mute until we get to that next alley. And then that way you can turn it on while I'm telling that specific story. This is a very interesting, I love showing off these bricks. And again, my wife keeps telling me I need to take this part out of the tour so that way I can expand it to go somewhere else after my current last stop. But I'm like, I love this alley. I really, really do. And it kind of gives you the tutorial of how to go ghost hunting. So let's go take a look at this other alley and see what we got going on.
I got a 3.
Can we put the antenna up?
You can?
So she just inherited this money. She has an attorney helping her out with this money. The attorney thinks the doctor is just after her cash, that he doesn't really love her. So he tells her to get rid of the doctor. To prove that he's not after Amanda's money, Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston. So as he's coming into town, the coachman that was bringing him in set him up to be robbed and killed. So somebody was going to kill him and take all of his money. So somebody walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. Now Ralph, I'm going to stop there for a second because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. You guys are ghost hunting, so we're getting little tiny tidbits of little words and phrases here. Letters R-I will show up here often. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. I need the secondary clues so that way I can see who it actually belongs to. It happens all the time. So anyway, Ralph says, dude, you don't want to stay here. He's got somebody inside. He's going to try to kill you and take your money. So he's like, I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay with them and all will be well. You'll be safe. The doctor takes him up on the offer and Ralph and the doctor become friends. I know, lots of history. Lots and lots of history. So I got yarns. I'm going to point them out every time. But anyway, so the doctor and him become friends, but the doctor's practice takes off, which means he's making his own money. Amanda's moving down soon. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you will ever visit has a whistler. Ours is a doctor, just so you know. So the doctor and Ralph go see plays together, like going to see the movies. However, they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. He gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see William III from Shakespeare. They're arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. Gets a little heated. Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. So it obviously gets uglier and they go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in a paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Yeah. The doctor sees this ad and he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley, we're going to settle this. So, again, you might not want to be so obvious with filming. He's like, whatever. People get a little funny about that. But anyway, so where was I? Oh, let's go down to Dueler's Alley and settle this, meaning somebody's going to die, right? So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to show he had the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it on the kneecap of the doctor. So the doctor doesn't die either. Drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, and they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. After refusing medical treatment. Remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet. So, meaning he just cut himself, trying to get all of that bullet wound out of him. So, they say as you walk through this alley, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. Now, my groups, I would tell you turn your spirit boxes down. We didn't have earbuds then, so you're gonna use the voice recording to see if any whistles are coming through. Even out here, I still get the word whistle that pops up, or I'll hear whistling specifically in a song. Like, it happens all the time. It just happened a few nights ago. I was like super excited about that one. But anyway, keep in mind, when you guys go down there on your own, because I can't take you down there, turn on your voice recorders from your phones, see if you get anything, and listen to it later. However, keep in mind, anybody that's local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on the other side is going to throw a whistle down the alley. It's going to be fake. So again, I do it every single night on my way back to my garage. It's when my daughter's on the tour, we race to Philadelphia Alley to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So it's just something we do. But again, this is a very interesting. I'm surprised there's no tours down there right now. Normally, because we're allowed to go halfway, and it's not fair for large groups of 20, like if there's 2 of them in there, for us to try to investigate the space when we can get just as much evidence out here. So here's how I got kicked out of here. This is the fun stuff. Do you guys want to hear about that? That's always good. You're like, yeah. So this alley didn't always come all the way through down here to Cumberland Street. It was kind of cut off. So those bricks on the other side are older. I used to show off those older bricks because those bricks were sun-dried from slave kids, meaning they had to turn them every hour to dry them. They didn't bake them in an oven. So we have one brick with a full handprint. It's very small, child handprint, and there's finger swipes in there. I used to show them off, but everybody wants to put an EMF meter or a spirit box near it. It's outside a gentleman's dining room window. I got caught one night. I'm not supposed to be down there. So that was November 26, 2020. The next day was Thanksgiving. I got a phone call the next day after that, on the 28th. So I had to reroute my tour or just go down halfway. I don't think it's fair to just give you guys half a space when there's other tours down there. So I was like, I'm going to have to reroute, which is where we're going to go tonight. So we get up and we're going. I was like, guys, I don't like pirates. It's not my thing. We'll kind of see what happens. Like I told my team, we're going to wing it. So somebody hears the number 300 on a spirit box. Another person hears the name Ann. I'm like, all right, I don't know what 300 is, but I know who Ann is. Ann, considering Ann Bonny. It's the female pirate from the golden age of piracy. Here's why the number 300 came up. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th, 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her trial, which I went, damn it, now I gotta talk about pirates. I'm a vampire guy, for sure. So, but I've read more books on pirates since that day because I have to keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. But it's a matter of there's so many different holes in these stories that I have to keep trying to figure out which ones are legit and which ones are not. So when we're kind of going through that last phase, again, there's a lot of holes. It's more of an open forum for you guys to be able to ask whatever you want to. Have you heard anything since we've been standing here?
I heard Anne's name just like somebody yelled it out.
How long ago was that?
Like
And didn't we hear
30 seconds ago.
Didn't we hear rob me?
Oh yeah, it said rob us. When you were
Rob
talking
us?
about the store robbery or whatever.
And Anne, do you have any words that popped up recently?
Clearly,
Okay.
it's on there now. How is the pirate's last name spelled?
B-O-N-N-Y.
Okay, because the very first word that popped up here when you gave it to me was B-O-N-Y.
Boney.
Yeah,
Interesting. So that was at the very beginning.
at the very beginning.
Okay, that's very
Had
interesting.
Boney and
Because Anne
Bones.
is said to be seen all over town. Now, even though that we're going to go see if she's there at the time that we're going to be there, it's a hit or miss. It's usually a 50-50 shot. Either she's going to be there and we're going to have a lot of evidence, or she's not going to be there and we're not going to get anything. So again, it's one of those type of spaces. So here's what's going to happen from here. We're going to go up and around the corner. We're going to go see what you guys hear along the way on your spirit boxes, and you can, kind of cut the cord on that one for a few minutes until we get to the. It is considered a mansion. It doesn't look that way from the very front of it. It looks very small and short, but it does go all the way back to the cemetery. But Nicholas here is very, very relevant.
She heard "Stay with me" twice.
Yeah, over here and over there.
Oh, and mine said separation.
Stay with me. Separation.
And that's why I don't have that.
You're going to be listening to it tomorrow anyway.
Mm.
All right. So I'm stoked that Nicholas showed up here. And normally if it's referring to me, now granted, I do go by Nicholas with my author's name, so that way I know if it's my Ghost-centric people or from my fans on my books. But most of the time my name Nick will just show up, not my full name of Nicholas. And it is spelled properly on both Nicholases, by the way. So there's different spellings of that. Looks like
Nicholas come up before building? Yeah.
yeah. So
Nicholas building and then interest.
very interesting, for sure. So again, looks like some people are going to be starting to creep to their cars, so we're just going to stay in this corner and then we'll kind of do a lap going up to that little building up there and kind of seeing what's going on. So we're here because this particular building is it's the Gunpowder Magazine. So we're here because this building is familiar to Anne Bonny. It's during the same time period that she was here. We don't have many buildings this old. So we're right in the middle of these people trying to get to their vehicles. I hate to be like that disruptive. Let's go more over towards that construction material is. That way we're not in it.
I'm getting nothing over here. I'm getting nothing.
Get your antenna out.
The antenna doesn't help. That's for when you do your motion sensors.
Alright, so this building is the oldest government building in South Carolina. So that's the little building up there with the crosses on it. First off, I'd like to point out that those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. If you're unfamiliar with what those are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn them and it'll straighten the building back up. At least that's the gist behind it. It's a great theory, it just doesn't work. The reason I point these ones out is because they're the very first set of earthquake bolts we put in, because even then it was the oldest government building in South Carolina. So it held gunpowder for 7 different wars, including the Civil War. So here's the reason why I like to bring up all the history about this building. We talked about the Charlestown Wall earlier. That parking garage across the street there, that's where the wall stood. So basically, the wall went up past the powder magazine. I don't know who that is. It went up past the powder magazine and started going south behind me. So that way it's locked into the corners on purpose. If it gets attacked from a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship from the water 3 blocks away, it's going to have a hard time getting through the walls. They're 32 inches thick. But let's pretend it does. Cannonball goes all the way through and blows up this gunpowder. There's sand in the roof underneath those red shingles that's supposed to blow up with the explosion and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. It's another great idea that doesn't work. Where it's like, yeah, that was a good one too. Here's why we know that. Another, powder magazine closer to the battery. It did get hit. It exploded. The sand went up, and obviously the building burned to the ground. It doesn't exist anymore. This one's just never been hit. So this building took 10 years to build, 1703 to 1713. Yeah, small building. It's government. It doesn't sound like our government. Small building, 10 years. But we're here because Anne Cormack moves here in 1708. You're going to have to follow me, guys. This one's got a lot of twists. So 1708, Anne, she's probably 11, maybe 12. She moves here with her father and his mistress, basically his girlfriend. The girlfriend/mistress is her mother. You guys with me so far?
Yes.
The three of them are running away from his wife. How angry was she? Just saying. From Ireland all the way here. They land in Georgetown, just north of here. Dad buys a plantation, and then Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation, hence why we're here. It's a familiar building. But Anne, back home in Ireland, was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was like 7 or 9 years old with a knife to the belly. Sorry, you just happened to be in front of me. Not trying to kill anybody. So, keep that mentality of Anne as we kind of go through the rest of the story.
Mine said like 91 days,
91
and then it
days.
said, I'm here.
So we're going to find out for sure. So again, more specific details. This stuff's kind of vague. I want to make sure we have specific things. So let's go back to the buildings finished in 1713. We're going to fast forward to 1715. Pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love. This guy's name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica because Dad doesn't approve, and they get married. Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonny, your most famous female pirate that we talked about earlier. Now, when she gets down there, this is not the swashbuckling Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy's a privateer. He's basically a spy for the British. This is not who she wanted. He's a coward. So, a few years later, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. I'll keep track. Guy number 2 turns out to be John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, has his own ship, and she wants to be part of it. However, girls curse pirate ships. You can't put a girl on the crew. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like one of the guys and hide your gender, then you could be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. Now, being a female in his quarters, let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure it out. So he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. They'll help you have the baby. Come back later and we'll figure it out. He doesn't want his crew to know that there was a girl on the crew. So she has the baby but returns with no baby. We don't know what happened to her. So she's also dressed like a girl. This makes Jack pretty mad. Jack also just captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. Now, we're on guy number 3 in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like men on the same crew. This young lady's name is Mary Read. Now, she convinces Mary to become part of the crew, and they become friends, possibly lovers, we'll never know for sure. And the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleets to come take down one pirate ship. Obviously, Anne and Mary, the only 2 not drunk enough to come up and fight, they're going to get taken, because they're using 1-bullet flintlocks. Now, as they're being arrested, Anne looks at Jack. She says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. So the word dog will show up here quite often. So, as far as that's concerned, the judge, Nicholas Laws, wants to see the 2 men that fought back after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken sailors that couldn't come up and fight. So the 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't care that they're girls. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. So, ooh, wow, that almost got nasty. So the next thing they said was they looked at the judge and they pled their bellies, meaning they're both claiming to be pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It is illegal. So he says, fine. Delays her hanging, sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in Charlestown with his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, guy number 4. Yes, we're going to count Mary Read. And has 4 children and dies at the age of 84. Yes, I know, very abrupt ending, but we don't know much about her after her pirate career. As far as Mary Read goes, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. It's probably scurvious and bumpy and gross and whatever else you want to come up with. I left 2 things out for you on purpose, because this is an open forum. This is where you guys already know how to use your devices. The 2 things you can ask about that I can prove are the name of Calico Jack's ship and the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That would be the dad and the /girlfriend mistress. I told you all earlier that people have passed out on my tour and it's been relevant to the story. This is one of those instances. Back in September, I brought my team back here, about 8 people, and the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost, and I have to pick him up by his armpit and take him over to the wall, which is where we normally end. So I take him over there. I send his boyfriend over to go get him a bottle of water. He comes back. He feels better. I tell the story. Afterwards, I send everybody out to go play with their devices. They pull me aside. Nick, we have to tell you something. What's going on? We are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as men, just like Anne and Mary, on my tour. The minute we entered the space, about one of them, I'm telling you, he was as white as your shirt. It was the craziest thing I ever saw. I don't think I've ever seen anybody that white before. So again, take that for what it's worth, but it is one of those, I didn't have to call the EMTs at that night. That was great. No paramedics were involved, but he was feeling better, and he was actually pretty cool to be part of the story, because that's how he felt. Felt like he was part of it. So, we are going to explore the space. Lena, this is not the Pinckney Mansion site. You're not going to get crazy spikes. If you get anything above 2.5, I want to know, because that usually means something else is going on at the same time. So, you're going to definitely turn on your REM pod in here. As far as, yes, you can turn yours up, Miss Marlene. And you are already filming, which is good. And, of course, what'd you do?
I don't know.
You broke it.
I did. The ghosts.
This was a fresh battery. I change these batteries every day. They're rechargeables. It's already dying.
Well,
It's dead.
they mess with them, you know. That's
I know.
what our ghosts do all the time. Is they mess with everything.
Yeah, it won't let me switch it. It's dead.
Well, didn't want to record anything.
Well, that's an anomaly all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's craziness. And this is the name where this is the space where I told you I get the same name, and I can't find where the clue is. I get the same name of David. I've only had this device 3 weeks. I've had it 3 times already in this space only. Now, you guys heard the little blips that come out of here. They're very disorienting. You can't really make them out. David comes out clear as day. I did have Pirate come through one night as well.
I don't have any batteries in my purse.
I don't know if I have any 9 volts, because I stopped carrying them because, again, everything gets rechargeable. They come off. I have a giant plate,
Sure.
and I just swap them out every day. So that way everything kind of keeps... So, again, I'm going to go over to that wall and see if I have any batteries. You guys obviously do your recording thing. If you do want to get footage of the front of the powder magazine, you can. Just don't interrupt other tours. It's the only thing I ask. They already don't like me.
And so do you ask questions then?
Yeah, I mean, you're
Okay.
still working with that, but if you guys
Yeah.
want to follow me over to the wall, there's a ledge over there. It's the only reason I'm going, because that's where we're going to end anyway.
Can I use this? You want this?
No?
Please.
No.
I can't hear crap.
Oh, hold on.
Bro, isn't that... Okay, I know it's like ghosts that are like transies, but isn't it kind of like scary how that specific person painted when they were talking about that specific sort of story?
Part of the reason why I went to rechargeables is so I wouldn't have to carry the surplus of batteries on everything. I just converted everything over. Yeah, when I got this guy, the first night it died on a regular battery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put rechargeables on there to keep it fresh.
What?
You stay with me. What happened?
They really mess with
Bonnie.
our electronics in our
Stop
buildings.
it. I don't like it when you do that.
And
I'm gonna have the
Bonnie.
guy that does the 7 days a week.
Stop.
And
So
Bonnie.
it's not like I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Where does it say that? Daddy.
Do you have the equipment that can show like their little colored stick figures? You know, when
Yeah,
they
yeah, I've
walk-
seen those,
I
yeah.
have one on the way because that device is rather large. My wife actually got me one for Christmas, and it was like this big and
Yeah.
weighed like 30 pounds by itself.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
have a guy over in the UK making me one right now because he's 3D printing me a case. So it has handles for you guys, and the monitor's already built in, and it's nice and compact. So we're just waiting on parts. So because he's backed up, like because it's a giant like item that everybody wants. So, but yeah, that's next on the list.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the one that I tried bringing that thing out on the tour. It was too much for me to handle. Like there's too much going on. It's too heavy, and it's too wobbly for you guys to handle, especially if you're not used to handling anything more than a smaller device. All right, this battery should last through this location, so it's got a little bit of a weak signal coming through the AM set, so we're gonna see what happens.
Alrighty.
One more volume on either side. Yeah, that AM is coming through pretty weak. Let's give you a little bit of antenna. Maybe something will pop up.
Okay.
All right. Let's have some fun in here. Again, another 5-10 minutes. and we'll
Something
see
said follow him.
the- Follow him.
Oh, and then it also said there were people on my local. Which the local part might have been on the channel. Most likely was.
It's okay, because sometimes it all matches up. Kind of see what comes out of this. All right, let me take a look at your word list, Miss Ruth. See what we got going on there.
That's been on there for a long time.
In line,
Want to walk around
I'm
with me?
super stoked about Nicholas showing up. Like, that's been a
Nicholas.
Ooh, that's the highest it's been right here.
What is it?
2.4.
Tell him.
I got
2.5.
2.5.
on the recording. What's that?
2.5.
Is it steady?
It was for a while, but then it just started going down right now.
The reason why I ask that is because you're pretty, like anything close to those bushes, plus we have an electrical pole right there. So the closer you get this way, the more likely you're going to get something out of it. So if you walk towards the bushes, it should go up a little bit.
It went down.
Did it go down?
Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
But it's going more down when I walk
it
this
just
way
said
too.
no one's about.
So that was a, what, a 2.9?
2.5.
No one's about. No one is about.
What do you hear?
There's a different. I don't know what that means.
Hey, Ann, how many children did you have?
Huh?
How many children did Ann Bonnie have? What?
I asked her if it's alive, and she got scared of the answer. Lena, it just said it's likely. Oh, no.
We've gotten some motion out of it before. That's almost a better tool to have over here versus just the EMF reader. So if Ann's here, make that box go to blue.
And
I normally use the colors in the middle. You try to steady
ask
it.
Ann if she's here, Mary.
No.
Blue and purple
Why?
like in the middle area. Ann or Mary, make that box go to blue. You know how to do that.
Oh, I just got. There's a difference.
It went to blue.
See there?
No, it just like blinked fast.
Wait, go back to where you were when it was blue.
For a different color. Purple, yellow.
Yellow.
I mean, coming up on your camera. Your camera likes to act up in here. Like it just goes wonky. Gives me weird lines that aren't supposed to be there. Makes other devices stop working. We did have a battery drain once.
Really?
I mean, that's the SB11. I mean, that should have lasted us the
Yeah,
rest
that's
of
a
the night.
9-volt battery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brand new.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Fully
Oh,
off
it
the
went
church.
all the way up to like the.
To the red?
Yeah. I can tell it was red
Nice.
or purple.
Now, you were standing still and just got a blue reading. That's a good thing. So stay right where you are. And I want you to make it go to purple this time. Can you make this box go to purple? That was me. Ghost hunting is about patience. Make it go to purple for us.
Ann doesn't want to cooperate.
Again, she's either here or she's not. This is a hit or miss. I mean, they're hearing things on the spirit boxes, but it's all very vague phrasing.
Yeah.
When I was walking that way, it was just like blinking, like this green, and then it blinked yellow, and then it like stayed there for a moment, and then I kept on walking, and then it got off.
So she just asked Anne what she wanted, and it said pirates, and then I just got then go look.
Hers was recording, so I'm going to be deep diving for pirates because that's not a very common thing you would hear on the radio.
That got to be red.
And make it go to purple. But that's normally how I use that in this space because the EMF on the red screen isn't going to be very significant. So I'll try to get some motion out of it. Purple, and purple. Not blue, purple.
Let me go purple, Ann. Can
Daddy.
you get a purple? Purple? Purple nipple?
Purple.
Purple nipple.
They can hear you.
And I gotta pee. Whoa, went red.
Yeah. Daddy. So how did Anne die?
I don't know.
Is that what he wants us to ask?
Yeah, why not?
He didn't tell us?
Ann,
Oh, that one got to purple and red. Anne, how did you die?
Go tell him.
Hey.
Go stand back in that spot.
No. Right here is like where it's active.
Where the game tracer's at.
You just got a purple over there.
You got a purple?
Mhm.
Nice. You got a blue, then a purple, so I'm going to write down both of them.
But it went like purple and red at the same time.
Again, I don't normally ask for purple. I normally go straight to blue because it's right in the middle. So she could have been testing it to see what's going on. Alright, let's go over to the wall because I don't see anything other than that motion. With, like you guys heard pirates. Again, I'm excited about that, but I want to verify. So, because that's one of those readings. Go ahead and reset it. Make sure it's not from your motion. Remember to be still. Reset it. Probably from me moving.
Did you get any green or dark blue thingies on yours?
No,
That shouldn't be there.
not really.
Yep.
Again, the thermal imaging camera is usually the one that acts up here. The name I normally hear at this space I was telling you about earlier is David. I've gotten it 3 times. And again, the first 2 nights we had it, David, and then a few nights later we had it again. And again, I didn't reveal that to anybody, just like I didn't reveal it to you. So, interesting.
Did you hear David?
It's still kind of dead. Like it's not really responding to the battery I put in there. So.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So I like to at least show you a picture of Anne. It's one of the few pictures I could find of her with a shirt on. She used to show off a boob to show that men were just killed by a woman. Because again, she was a badass. So that's who she was. But I like to show this picture off because the flintlocks are in there. They're pretty detailed in the painting. So if you don't know what a flintlock is, that's what they look like. Calico Jack. Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets he wore. They came off of the men that he killed. So that's what Calico Jack looked like. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. Do I expect Kingston to come through your spirit boxes? I do not. However, do I expect the word king? Yes, that would be verifiable enough for me to be able to verify that. The name of Anne Bonny's parents were William Cormack and Mary Brennan. Remember, there's 2 Marys in the story now. Her mother and the friend Mary Reed. So again, it depends on like how we're asking the question of how we get the answer.
It just sounded like it said, come back, come back.
I'm not surprised. She needs to come back and give us a little bit more information. Are you resetting that as it's going off? Because it looks like it's going off with your emotions a little bit, but you're not moving a lot.
Sometimes it's just like spirit.
Yep. Every time you do that, it's going to go off a little bit. Again, that device is meant to be set up and left alone. So that way you're not walking around with it. Any other words that came up out of yours?
Just detect and born.
Because again, we're still close to the church, and I still get terms over here related to the doctor. Like, we're still that close. We're only half a block away. We didn't go far. Overall, guys, we only walked half a mile. But you've been with me probably well over 2 hours at this point. It doesn't feel like it. But again, as I go through your data tomorrow morning, this is obviously lighter than what I normally see. I'll be honest. Again, I'm not going to make stuff up for you guys. But what I find in the morning will definitely have markers so you guys can check it out for yourselves. The Nicholas showing up on here, and then I got to definitely dive into the Eliza that showed up at Lodge Out, just to see if there was an Eliza that lived there, and kind of verify that information. You have a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And now it stopped. Make it stay on purple. Anne or Mary if you're here. Can you make it stay there? You gotta be a little bit more steady than that. Or you can just touch it. It'll go red.
It just said 5 days on my thing.
I'm looking at the number of that. She had 5 children total. Remember, 1 in Cuba, and then 4 after she moved back to Charleston. I saw purple in there.
Yeah.
Can you touch it and make it go to red? That would really show us that you're here. Just touch it. Touch the metal stick. Right here, just like that.
Please.
Yeah, right. Anne, Mary, can you make it go to red by touching that little metal stick? I will never use the terms of what these devices actually are. These people are from the
I think it's just
1700s.
one to red.
They have no idea. Just touch that little metal stick there. Make it go to red. I'm going to leave that open, so if you want to touch it while I collect the rest of these boxes, you can do that. So I'm going to take your device last. So that way it can kind of give us the... Oh, blonde. Interesting. Alright, so you guys can ask me a million questions if you'd like. I am an open book. Again, you guys were a pretty quiet group. I'm not expecting a million questions out of you.
I've gotten pretty protective of our ghosts.